Well, thank you everyone for joining us today. This is Andrew Williams Jr. Today's session will be the gender-based violence against women and girls, women's health and education. This information, today's show is being brought to you by the Andrew Networks, AHIABGA-TV. So we invite you to contact us, reach out to us, should you be able or interested in having us to share your event. I'll now turn the floor over to our host and moderator.
Thank you everyone for coming in. We appreciate your time, your support, and your love on this beautiful day. Thank you, Andrew, for opening up for us. So as you know, this is the 68th session of the Commission of the Status of Women. And this is a side event. Oh, it's so beautiful to see so many faces. I don't know if you're all at a place where you can maybe come on camera for a bit, because if your faces look so beautiful with picture, can you imagine if I can literally see you all? So actually, if you're situated.
Actually, I'd like to invite you all. Normally, we wait to have a gallery photo at the end of the event, but I'd like to invite all of you now to turn your videos on so we can get the group photo at the beginning of the event. How about that?
I think I love that. I love that. We're still waiting on a few more people to put their cameras on.
No worries.
I think you're muted.
I think so too. Well, thank everyone for joining us. I'm just going to begin reading from my top left of my screen. We have Lacent Josephs, Andrew Williams, Ambassador Dr. Anita McCaney, Catherine Evans, Letitia Moshwe, Dr. Vanessa Rosser, Reverend Dr. Yvonne Prattler, Linda Ogundiji, pardon me, Ogundipi, thank you. Patricia L. Henderson, Elam, Dr. Shalene Das, David Umoro, Adira Aishet Tasmiel, and you'll have to, please excuse me for butchering your names. Mercy James, who I think that's actually James Mercy Open to Meaty, Barbara Washington Badrasin, Cecilia Pierce Eccles, Ambassador Prudence Okumi. Those are all the photos I can see. If you haven't been named and you are here, please introduce yourself. Narkita is coming in. Dr. Tomesha is coming in. Well, hostess Lisa Joseph, I'll turn it back over to you to decide how we proceed from here. Thank you so much.
I believe because we have been on for a minute, I'm just going to go get right into the program. But before I do that, I have a little bit of an excerpt here. I believe most of you have seen it if you took the time to read it before while you were logging in and registering. It says the world is at a crucial crossroad for gender equality. Globally, 10.3% of women live in extreme poverty today, and they are poorer than men. And we all know that's true, right? Progress towards ending poverty needs to be 26 times faster to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals by 2030. Imagine that, by 2030. This is mind-blowing. Like, Really? 2030. Let's move on. Data from 48 developing economic shows that an additional 360 billion is needed per year to achieve gender equality and women's empowerment across key global goals, which including to ending domestic violence, poverty, and hunger. Investing in policies and programs that address gender inequality and boosting women's agency and leadership. Such investment yield enormous dividends. Over 100 million women and girls could be lifted out of poverty if government prioritized education and family planning. This morning, I was speaking to Dr. Tomesha. I was talking to her about human trafficking and poverty. I know today we're talking about health, hope, and I don't remember what else is on the thing, health and hope with women, right? Some of the reason why I believe young women and girls, this also encompasses male, the human trafficking, but right now we're talking about women and girls, is because of poverty. Poverty leads to some of these doors being opened where these women are unable to provide for themselves. These girls are unable to find a way out. And so they find themselves in a situation where they're succumbing to human trafficking. So poverty, we definitely need to own in on figuring out, what do we do? How do we help to allow we as women not to be at the bottom of the scale where the domestic violence and staying in domestic violence, staying in all these unhealthy relationships because we do not have, because they do not have. So here we are today on this platform so that we can dive in and talk about strategies and ways and where do we go from here and what do we do with the information we gathered here today, right? So I am going to go to the program. And good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever in the world you're coming in from. My name is Dr. Lysant Joseph, and I am your moderator for today. So the first person I'm going to be calling on for or opening is Her Excellency Ambassador Dr. Anita McKenney. Dr. Anita McKenney, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Grateful to be here today. Been looking forward to this event. It's good to see many of my friends here, fellow ambassadors. I greet you to all the excellencies, ambassadors, and all of those present, all the women in the room. I greet you. We are certainly excited to be here today for CSW68, this side event. Has been long awaited, and I'm very just excited to be here today. So I'm going to go to my talk. Hello. Hola, bonjour. Ethics is the discipline concerned with what is morally good and bad. In the realm of global ethics, the status of women remains a critical concern as we pursue peace. As we delve into the statistics post-2020, we observe a persistent disparity in labor market participation, with less than 50% of working-age women engaged compared to 74% of men. This is a gap that has remained relatively unchanged for over 2 decades of time. This discrepancy is further exacerbated by the disproportionate burden of unpaid domestic and care work that's shouldered by women, which hinders their economic empowerment. In 2020, women globally dedicated thrice as many hours to these unpaid tasks as men did. This is a figure that soars even higher in regions like Northern Africa and Western Asia. The COVID-19 pandemic, of course, intensify these inequalities, particularly affecting sectors with high female employment, such as paid domestic work, accommodation, food services, and retail trade. Moreover, women constitute over 70% of the health care sector workforce, placing them at an elevated risk for just simple infections. Despite these challenges, the glass ceiling remains firmly intact, with women holding a mere 28% of managerial positions globally as of 2019, a statistic that mirrors figures from 1995. The representation of women in top executive roles is equally dismal, with only 18% of enterprises reporting a female CEO in 2020. However, there is hope. These statistics not only highlight the ethical imperative to address gender disparities, but also underscore the need for systematic change to achieve true equality. That would be right. That would be ethical. The United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres emphasizes that the decade of action for the Sustainable Development Goals presents an opportunity to transform the lives of women and girls, both today and in the future. As we forge ahead, it is crucial that global ethics are ethically inclusive of women and girls and ultimately sustainable, ensuring that the strides made toward gender parity, ending gender-based violence, and accessible women's health and equal education are not only preserved, but birthed and accelerated in nations worldwide. I am a proponent of women's equity as well as women's equality. My foundation, the Titus 10 Foundation, has made strides in this area, but there is still so very much to do. So I am grateful for forums like this one, where we can all come together and where we can talk about plausible solutions for the future. Thank you. Gracias. Bonjour.
Thank you. Gracias. Bonjour. Wow. Come on, everyone. Just if you can, by doing a clap hand and a thumbs up, that's an amazing presentation. Very powerful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I don't know if Patricia is on. Is Patricia on? Patricia is on. I'm going to be calling on Dr. Tomesha Walker for a few minutes right now. Dr. Tomesha Walker, I'm going to give you the floor for a second. Who is really the person? Oh, look at her. Isn't she just beautiful? She is the champion at the wheel here, and we're all here in support of her. Come on, everyone, just for a few seconds. If you can unmute, if you can just do your hands like this and give a resounding applause to Her Excellency, Dr. Tomesha Walker, as she takes the floor for a second. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Ambassador Joseph. We extremely appreciate all of you being here. And I just want to take a moment to make sure that you all have a clear concept and understanding of what we're talking about.
Ambassador, I don't know if it's me, but I'm having a difficult time hearing you.
Yeah, it's in and out.
Is it in and out? Is that any better?
So far.
Okay. Just let me know if there is moving forward. But thank you guys so much. Thank you for joining us here today. Here to have this opportunity. Here's what I'm going to do. Dr. Joseph, as you continue on, here's what I will do. I will come back in just a minute after I check my audio. But we are excited about this, and either Dr. Joseph or Dr. Edith just share the concept of birth and what it is about and how the speakers are sharing today for our global message. Thank you.
Thank you. I believe I can put put together pieces of what you said. I don't know if Patricia is on, but before I put you on, Patricia, to go forward with a concept note, technology is a thing. It works 1 minute, it goes out the window 1 minute. Especially like myself, I didn't know much of what's happening, so it took me a while to get on. So as Dr. Tamika get her volume together, we are going to welcome Patricia, is whom she is requesting to do the concept note. I don't know if Patricia is on.
I'm here.
Where are you? Oh, there you are. Welcome, Patricia. You can go forward with the concept note. And
quickly, just before she goes, is that any better?
yes,
Oh,
that's
much
better.
better.
That's
Much
way
better.
better.
Hey, I was so excited. It was better. All right, so here we go. I will take the floor here for just a moment. Thank you guys all so much again for being here today. We are extremely honored to have you. Thank you again to our first speaker, Dr. Anita McCaney. That was absolutely wonderful. And thank you so much to our moderator, Ambassador Dr. Lisette Josephs. We appreciate you being here and all of our speakers. So today, overall, as we talk about birthing a new nation, I want to just point out some of the cues that you'll hear today with our speakers. They are really speaking through the concept of birth when it comes to the fact that we are able to stand strong and firm in our beliefs, that there is interconnectedness with each and every one of us, that we also, as Dr. Anita said so greatly, deal with being ethical and evidence-based, and then also making sure that we take the time to take the seat that are there for us. I'm excited to hear about each of you. And then also having peace. So spelling out birth, B-I-R-T-H. We have amazing speakers, and I'll have an opportunity to come back and share with you more as we talk about what it is for us to come together and to really make a difference in our nation and in our world as we are here honoring CSW68 and the shifts and the changes that we as a nation are able to do. So again, welcome, welcome, welcome. I am Ambassador Dr. Tomesha Walker, and it's exciting to be here. And one of the privileges that I have is to welcome a woman who welcomed me into this world, and that is Evangelist Patricia L. Henderson Elam. She has been a force to be reckoned with, so much so that we have had the opportunity through my organization, Heart for the Hopeless, to award mothers across the world with an award named in her honor. And it is the Honoring Our Mothers Everywhere Award. And we're heading into our third year of nominations and awards for this honor. So I'm excited to bring her to the floor and give her the opportunity to share a bit about the nominations, the process, and the award itself, as she was our very first nominee and honored recipient of the Patricia L. Henderson Elam Honoring Our Mothers Everywhere Award. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm trying not to get emotional. However, it is an honor to be able to express my surprise and profound gratitude to being the first recipient to receive this prestigious Honoring Our Mothers Everywhere Award. Receiving this award from the Hearts for the Hopeless staff, inclusive of our distinguished Dr. Tomesha Walker and Dr. Anita McCaney. Both these mentors have been a positive example and wholeheartedly displaying their sincere devotion and dedication to this organization, especially this being done for the moms who have and will in the future receive this honorable award. This prestigious award has engraved on it 4 recipient descriptive words, and I have great pride in sharing them with you all today. Number 1, a paragon of a resilient compassion. An individual regarded as a perfect example of a particular quality or viewed as a model of excellence, showing concern and sympathy for the sufferings or misfortunes of others, displaying mercy, tenderness, gentleness, and empathy. The next one is loving, showing great care, being devoted, affectionate. The next one is wise, understanding good judgment, having the power of discerning, judging properly as to what is true and right. The last and the next one is nurturing shepherdess, shepherdess, to care for and encourage the growth or development, also provide for, care for, bring, raise up, and keep watch over and gathering of souls. And I put / sheep. There's a treasure trove of descriptive meanings for each word. However, time will not permit me to elaborate even more. As the quote on the award states, for being an exemplary mother, seeding the world with love, planting and cultivating hope for generations of harvest. I see so much of the Proverbs 31 woman characteristics and attributes according to God's holy word. Thank you and have a great day.
Congratulations. Congratulations again. And thank you for availing yourself as such to be able to receive. I see your hand up, Andrew Williams. Is that a hand up or is that a congratulations? That's a hands up.
It's actually both. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here to share this. But one of our ambassadors from India, Shalene Das, is outside, and she needs to speak next so she can get inside.
Okay, okay. So you're asking me to put on Shelly right now? Is that what you're saying?
Well, when the next speaker comes up, yes, she has to leave and she's in an uncomfortable environment, but she's dedicated to be here, so we want to honor her time. Thank you so much, if the schedule allows. Thank you.
Okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and put her on next. She's way down at the bottom. So since time is of essence and we want to value her time, at this time, as you heard our deliberation on having Shalina Diaz come on forth, we are then going to put her on as she waves a smile to us. Coming to us right now is Dr. Shalene Diaz.
Yes, hello. Namaste and warm greetings all the way from India, Kolkata city. First, I would love to thank you, madam, for addressing me and calling me up. And second, I would love to thank Dr. Andrew Williams for having me on this show. Third, I would love to thank James Mercy for giving me this beautiful friend who keep on giving me amazing surprises. I didn't know that today I was a speaker, so I just came out and I just came in. And for giving me amazing friend, Dr. Tomesha and Dr. Anita. So it's my family, human rights family. So it's so good to be here. Many thanks to UN68 Commission on the Women Status of Women. So now I'm going to give a presentation on gender justice, especially in terms of India, how gender justice is working in India. The issue of gender justice has been debated over a long time. And it's still one of the biggest human rights challenges. Although gender equality is a fundamental human right and it's essential for peaceful and development society, achieving gender equality is still an unfinished business. In India, deep-rooted culturally institutions play a major role in gender equality. The Indian courts often act as activists for people, and profound Indian constitution create hope for achieving gender justice. The Constitution of India has given new dimension of Indian society in certain sphere the Constitution does not use the word gender. It is used the word sex in article, and 325 which prohibits discrimination on the ground of sex. Although the word sex has meaning, then the word gender and the above prohibition merely against discrimination on the basic of the sex and gender justice. So now, global view on gender justice. Gender justice play a very crucial role in today's world. Gender justice is all about social, economic, political, environment, culture, educational factors, and moreover. Now coming in Indian legislative framework on gender justice in India, principle of gender justice have been enriched in its constitution, the very document that provides the basic guideline for governance in a democracy. In this sense of gender justice, India is working for democratic principle. We have adopted more. The inclusion on gender justice, equality before the law, and positive discrimination for the economic, society, and among other things made in Indian constitution. Now coming, yes, women do face a lot of problems everywhere, and there are certain laws and acts which coming up for those criminal people, those who are facing, especially women, those who are facing rape, domestic violence, issues after marriages. So what Indian Constitution did, Indian Constitution passed a bill and an act like I know like in America also there are a lot of laws against women and human trafficking against minors. So here, Domestic Violence Act 2005 were introduced for those women, especially for those women who face problems after marriages. Then came up Dowry Prohibition Act 1961. Then came up Child Marriages Act 2006. Then came up the Incident and Preservations of Women Prohibition Act 1986. So yes, there are a lot of laws in terms of women, but the thing is, we are in the month of Women History Month, and Inspire Inclusion was the theme, and it's really a call for gender equality this year. But the thing is, women are always targeted as a sex toy. And I believe that everywhere, it's not about India, America, it's everywhere worldwide. If we educate all the young ones, especially male child from the grassroots, the human rights and the things which is good touch, bad touch, which is normal, abnormal, what is right, good seed, bad seed, then I guess we can change the mentality. Again, I'm coming in India, like, again, women are misusing the laws. Even men are also becoming the victim, and they are also suffering. So I know we cannot, finish this massive act because it's a lifetime challenging thing everywhere. It's not about America or India. Moreover, in many countries coming from human rights background, I can see anybody can be the victim of domestic violence, whether it's men, women, or or a child. So I request everybody, if we can raise awareness in universities, in schools, where we can educate all the young ones since their childhood, so then we can teach them basics, and that's how we can end domestic violence. And I'm the brand ambassador for Youth with Human Rights, Washington DC of India, and even Hope Nigeria country director, and Guardians of Human Rights Florida country director. So I work in university. I'm a professor, human rights professor, and a trainer for aspiring flight attendant. I do give trainings on human rights and anti-human trafficking awareness, and to promote youth empowerment. I do work with youth empowerment project because I believe if we choose men and women, it just go divide in two sections. But if we target on youth cover up men and women. That's how we can live in a better world, and we can have peace, and we can fight for domestic violence and gender equality. Thank you so much for calling me and giving me this opportunity, Dr. Lisen Joseph, and for giving me this opportunity. I would love to thank Dr. Tomesha, who just called me up all of a sudden. It was a surprise to speak on this topic and to be a speaker on this day, to share the panel with amazing panelists. from United Nations. So many thanks to Dr. Andrew and Chaplain James also, with lots of love from Dr. Charlene. We'll work more, we'll talk more on these issues where we'll bring youth and everybody to work on each and every aspects on gender equality, where we can have speakers and sessions where each and everybody will talk about the laws and action in their country that will be more great and interesting in future. Thank you so much, Dr. Andrew and Dr. Sen, for giving me this opportunity. Dr. Vanessa is there, whosoever is watching me. Thank you so much. And Dr. Tomesha, thank you so much for giving me this honor, for calling me on this amazing session. And I'm coming soon in US. We'll see you, everybody there live.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Dr. Diaz. We appreciate it. So it goes to show that gender justice and gender inequality, it is not prejudice to any particular country, religion, or nation. Yes. It is not prejudice. So thank you so much. You gave some valued information and give us a bird's eye view as to what's happening there in India. Thank you. Yes, we definitely need to continue this collaboration. Okay, so coming to us right now, we will be having a PowerPoint presentation, a special presentation. We are going to put on the platform Chaplain James. Is Chaplain James? Yes, he is. Chaplain James Mercy, the floor is now yours. We can't hear you. We're just going to give him a few more minutes, and if he's still having difficulty, we're just going to probably move on to the next person. As you can see, technology also have no specific time to act up. Okay, so we're going to keep it moving, and then Chaplain James will come right back to you. Please forgive me if I'm not going to be pronouncing this name properly. We have Miss Rukia Abdul. She's not here. She's not. The pronunciation is wrong.
Please, can you hear me now?
Oh, yes, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Please, I just have to be out and come back again. Thank you so much. In this place, I don't need any work presentation. I want to speak from as outcome of our community programs, what we have experienced and see. But to start with, my name is Chaplain Dr. James Mercy Obatumebi. I am the president for World Humanitarian Organization for Peace and Equity. And this has been part of our aims and objective and our vision to make sure we advocate for women to promote gender equality and to work against domestic violence, gender-based violence, gender inequality, and to also do our best to see that women's rights are also protected. But with all this, we realize that the solution lies with everyone. Solution to all this problem lies with everyone, every home. If we can sit down and think about where this problem is coming from, I think that should help us to also sit down and look at what would the solution be. Now, it started from every home, which I believe some of us are also into such now, but we don't take cognizance of that. For example, if you have male child or children, and you have female child or children, I don't know the law that says it is the girl child that should sweep. After eating, all the family have eaten. I don't know the law that says it is the girl child that should wash the plates. It is the girl child that should wash the clothes. I'm talking from the local aspect now, where everyone comes from, before you meet yourself in the global world. But we all came from somewhere. Now, this in one way has been child abuse. It has been the violence we are talking about. That most of these responsibilities has to be shifted or put to get children, abandoning the boys, making the girls wiser, powerful, stronger, and makes the boys useless at home. You can see them pressing phones, doing nothing at home, and you see the girl children working. They are the one to sweep. They are the one to cook. They are the one to wash. They are the one to be here and there. So you make them stronger. Why are boys sit down at home, pressing phones, do whatever they like? Because if anything has to happen, even you mothers, I'm talking to every one of you. I don't know if you're still doing that now. Putting every work at home to children, they get children at home. So when those boys now grown up to become an husband, they married, they also see their wife as slaves. Because the home they are coming from, it is a girl child that can do this, do that, must do this, must do that. So when they marry too, they see their wives as slaves that has to do this, beat them anyhow. It's come from home. This started from home, which we must stop. If we really want to eradicate domestic violence, we want to really eradicate gender-based violence, we're really sure we want to eradicate all these gender inequalities. It starts from all of us, even before we go out to schools, to seminars, to conferences. Let's correct this at home. There's no law that says this is what boys should do at home. This is what girls should do. Let them take responsibility. If a girl child have to sweep or wash his place today, I'm talking from the local aspect now. Not to stop the boy child to take it up tomorrow. They can be rotating it. So they will not be seen, girl children, as slaves at home. Because when they marry, that's how they treat their wives, because they've seen them as slaves, and this should stop. That is that, and more so in the government, in the politics, even in religion. There are some religion churches that will say women cannot attain a certain level in the ministry because they are women. Some cannot mount the altar because they are women. Whose law is that? And this is the time for women to rise. Rise. Rise up to the task, to this challenge that we are there. Today, thank God, we have women that are having their ministries. They are GOs, general overseers, having their ministries on their own, having their churches, leading it, and they are doing it well. Even in politics, they abandoned women, believing that they could not do anything. And thank God we have some other government in some other countries that women are holding prominent positions. And you can never see them fail in that position given to them or entrusted on them. This is what every government should emulate. Political bodies, they should emulate this. And if they say men can do it better, that is why we are seeing corruption. That is why corruption is everywhere. If they have respected this gender equality, nothing stop presidency if male, then the vice president, the direct vice president should be female. If you have president female, the vice president should be male. If we really want to promote this gender equality, this is part of the violence we're talking about. If you are violating women's rights, this is violation. And how to eradicate it is to start from home. Those that you see in politics today, those you saw in government today, as presidency or whatsoever, wherever you have seen them, they are all from one home or the other. So that is why we have to start training our children, our male children, how to be responsible. Let them be responsible from home. Let them respect their sisters from home. Don't misbehave to them. Don't just off your clothes and throw it anyhow and say your sister should go and pick it up. Because if such a boy married, that's how you'll be throwing clothes up and down and say the wife to go and pick it up. So let's train them from home. We have more things to do and we have more to say. I'm not being violent here, but it's somehow painful. And if we have to advocate for gender equality, I think I should be the best position to talk about all these things, because my kids they are all female, they are all girl children. So I love them and I always advocate for them. I always fight for them. That's why you see me being violent when I'm talking. When it comes to violating women's rights, it's not acceptable. So I'm saying this, that we have all wrong in one way or the other, training them wrongly. So let's go back home and train our children rightly on how to respect the female gender. So when they grow up, they will keep to that. Respect them wherever they are. So there is this little contribution I have to say now because of our time. So thank you for having me, and thank you for the privilege given to me to talk. So thank you so much.
Let's eradicate gender inequality and gender-based violence. Let's start it from home, from the mouth of Chaplain James Mercy. Thank you, sir. It's refreshing to hear a male perspective on the platform today. I always welcome male perspective, in the quest towards ending this disease. So coming to us is a powerhouse, an amazing, resourceful, knowledgeable. I could go on and on and on. She's a powerhouse. We respect her highly for who she is as a person and who she is in the department. So at this time, we have no other choice but to put on the platform Her Excellency, Dr. Vanessa Rosier. Please welcome her to the platform.
Greetings, everyone. I didn't realize you were talking about me. There are so many highly respected people on the platform today. I thank you so much. Greetings to Dr. Tomesha Walker for putting this platform on today, the parallel session for the CSW68, a platform where women can, and men, right? Because we do have we are graced by the presence of men giving their perspective on women leadership. So I will say thank you for opening the platform for all of us to speak in parallel of raising the woman to her standard. I just want to say thank you to Chaplain Mercy James for segueing into my topic today. The topic that I will be speaking from is take your seat. Taking a seat is powerful in many different ways. Taking a seat typically means physically sitting down in a seat or on a bench. It is often used as an invitation or instruction for someone to sit down and make themselves comfortable. Figuratively speaking, it can also mean assuming a role or position, such as in a meeting or in an organization. Taking a seat can symbolize various things depending on the context. It can represent inclusion, acceptance, readiness to engage, or taking on responsibility. In a literal sense, it indicates the willingness to participate or join a group. It may also signify being ready to listen, to contribute, or to take action in a particular situation or discussion. First the natural, then the spiritual. In the Bible, taking a seat can symbolize several things depending on the context. One notable example is Psalms 23:5, where it says, "You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You have anointed my head with oil, my cup overflows." Here, taking a seat at the table prepared by the Lord signifies his presence, receiving his blessings, and being provided for even in greater challenging times. Overall, the significance of taking a seat in the Bible can vary depending on the context, but it often symbolizes presence, blessings, authority, and/or judgment. We talked about today the meaning of this platform, birth, right? And I want to just expound on that a little bit. To give birth to something typically means to bring something into existence or to create something new. It is often used metaphorically to describe the process of bringing forth ideas, projects, or movements. Just as a mother gives birth to a child, someone can give birth to a concept, invitation, or initiative. Giving birth is significant for several reasons. It's creation, it's nurturing, it's transformation, it's connection, it's legacy, and it's growth. Giving birth is profound and significant in events that it encompasses themes of creation, nourishing, transforming, connection, legacy, and growth that I just mentioned. I'll go back to the phrase that I opened up with, take your seat. If you're referring to women as we are referring to women today and taking their seat, this can mean several different things. Equality, empowerment, representation, and recognition of contributions. Encouraging women to take their seat reflects a commitment to promoting gender equality, empowering women, fostering diversity and inclusion, and recognizing the importance of women's participation in leadership in all aspects of society. Women taking a seat symbolizes a significant progression of change. Historically, women have faced barriers in accessing positions of leadership, authority, and decision-making roles in various fields. Engaging and supporting women to take their seat represents a shift towards greater gender equality, diversity, and inclusion. As women take their seat in boardrooms, government offices, academic institutions, and other influential spaces, it signifies progression towards breaking down systematic barriers, challenging gender stereotypes, and creating more opportunity for women to thrive and contribute to their unique perspectives and talents. When women take their seat, we inspire future generations of women to pursue their ambitions, challenge societal norms, and strive for their goals, fostering a more equitable and inclusive society for all. When we talk about influencing women to take their seats, we must be reminded that it is essential to foster confidence in women, provide support to women, challenge stereotypes on behalf of women, promote visibility of women, create inclusive spaces for women, and to lead by example for women. By taking these steps, we can create a culture that encourages and empowers women to take their seat and contribute their unique perspectives and talent to make a positive impact in their communities and beyond. We know that when women take their seat, several things can happen. They get physical rest, they get engagement, they have observation, there is active listening, and there is decision making. In a spiritual sense or metaphorical sense, a divine timing of taking a seat could imply a movement when everything aligns perfectly for someone to assume a particular role, responsibility, or opportunity. It suggests that the timing is not just coincidental, but it is guided by a higher power than ourselves. This concept may also encompass elements such as preparation, the synchronicity, alignment with their purpose, the trust and surrendering to what they are called to take their seat for. I will end by encouraging us with this. You see, you can't physically rest if you don't take a seat. You can't properly engage the matter. You must first take a seat. You can't make clear observations. You must take a seat. You can't be an active listener if you're standing. You must take a seat. You won't have a clear and direct path to decision making. You must take a seat. Take a seat. And knowing that no matter who is standing at the door, politely move past women and take your seat. Take a seat knowing that you can manage, not a seat that has been assigned to you. If by chance the seat that you are taking is assigned, make sure it is a seat assigned by divine timing. Remember, first the natural, then the spiritual. Matthew 11:12 tells us, the King James Version, from the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven suffered violence, and the violent take it by force. Women, take your seat. Thank you.
Yes, it's okay if you show your video and your appreciation. After each speaker, I will share the gallery view so that we can acknowledge others like Dr. Vanessa Posser. Thank you so very much, Dr. Posser. Rosser, thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Gender justice, eradicating gender inequality, and taking your seats. Are we ready to take our seats? Women, men, are we ready to take our seat? Taking our seat from the mouth of Her Excellency Dr. Vanessa Rosier is to create what? A culture for women and girls so that they can rest. But they cannot rest until we take that seat. If you do not remember anything today, remember this. Gender inequality, gender justice, and eradicating gender-based violence against women and girls and taking your seat. And what does that look like? What does that look like? What does it look like to take your seat? You heard it right here from Dr. Vanessa Rossier. You heard it from all the previous speakers before her, how we can go forth and take our seats. Thank you, thank you. I am encouraged to take my seat. I am. Okay, coming to us right now, I don't know if she's here as yet, or if we're still awaiting her arrival. Is she here? No, she's not here. So at this time, we are going to put on the floor Dr. Tomesha Walker, who is really the powerhouse and giant for today. So please help me welcome Dr. Tomesha Walker back to the platform. And thank you all again. If you don't ever remember anything, remember these three things: gender justice, eradicating gender-based violence against women and girls, and taking our seat. It is time. We cannot wait for 2030 to take our seats. It is time that we take our seats. Dr. Tomesha Walker.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lucent Josephs. I extremely appreciate it. Thank you so much to all of the speakers and all of you who have showed up today. We extremely appreciate it. As I get ready to begin, my heart is just full listening to the speakers today and learning from them in this workshop. Please take a moment to put in the chat something that has stood out to you today. Something from one of the speakers, maybe two, maybe three of the speakers so far, that has really encouraged you, that you look forward to sharing when you leave this room, this virtual room. We've come here together today because we are excited about learning, about making a difference, about choosing to be the person that's the change in our own specific environment, to birth that difference you heard Dr. Vanessa talk about. My gosh, what would it look like if you actually went into those rooms and took a seat at those tables? What would it look like to have your voice be heard, right? Not just the thought of, does someone think another way? Is there another opportunity? Is there something else that we could do? But no, you actually showing up, speaking the difference, and taking a seat at the leadership table. What would it look like? Even as Dr. Anita spoke about righteousness and being rightly divided, she talked about things as being ethical and evidence-based. When we stand up and make the difference, because we opened our mouths and we said something was unjust, we said something should not be, we're sitting here and enjoying CSW68. I will tell you all, I had the immense and extreme honor and pleasure in visiting the United Nations and walking through on a tour and seeing all of the different meeting rooms and hearing the history behind the room. But how often are women, as we're talking about today, left out of rooms of importance, where they're not invited to the table, where the evidence isn't looked at, and where the thought and the concept of interconnectedness, us working together, isn't really into the room.
I apologize, please go right ahead.
The difference that life could be, or that you as an individual could make, because you chose to lock arms with us, to walk forward and to say, today is going to be a new day. I am birthing that vision. I am birthing that dream. I am walking into the divine destiny that I believe I've been called to walk in. I want to touch on a couple of the solutions that were spoken about in this CSW. So they spoke towards many different things and many different challenges when it comes to platforms and financial situations and education. And I love the fact that even with all of us coming together and even listening to our illustrious speakers like Chaplain James share about the need for us to ensure we begin at home, training up our young ones from birth to work interconnectedly, to make sure that we're looking at equality, that we're working on things together. A few of the solutions that were widely recognized when it comes to, as we heard from Dr. Lissette in the beginning, the fact that there is a true divide when it comes to poverty. When it comes to poverty and how we are treating, educating, and including the women that are around us. So some of the solutions that were recognized were investing in policies and programs that addressed inequality. Honestly, that's one of the reasons that I was so excited about hearing from Chaplain James, because I've had the opportunity to work with his program throughout his continent. It's been amazing to have the opportunity to bless children. It has been amazing to have the opportunity to see lives affected and changed with the food that is necessary, with the growth and education that is needed. He works with Woke. And if you all have not had the opportunity to be a part of that organization, I encourage you to do it today. It's exciting to also see, as they've talked about this year, with the widely recognized solutions, the boosting of women's agency and leadership. Today, if you've never seen it before, this is what leadership looks like. Dr. Vanessa and Dr. Lissette and Dr. Anita, my Lord, and Dr. Celine Scott, they are each individually and collectively working with organizations to make change right where they live and abroad. You are literally hearing from powerhouses. I love that you use that descriptor, Dr. Joseph. Powerhouses that are authors, that are creatives, that are consistently being examples of what it looks like to lead. Not only lead themselves, as they are consistently shifting and changing and learning and growing for themselves, but then taking the step to move forward and do that for others around them. They're building themselves, but then building their community and then building their world. Building their world. They're literally touching the globe with the expanse of the work that they do. So I encourage you today to do the same. To do the same. To make sure that that given talent that you have within you, you're not just keeping it for yourself, but you're opening the door wide to invite in other women that are around you, other males that are around you, to say, let's lead together. Let's lead together. As we heard from Dr. Celine, and she spoke about the inequalities and the violence that we see towards gender. It's so important to know that even though we see so many inequalities happen, that we have the opportunity to provide peace in our actions, in the way that we interact with people, acknowledge the situation, yes, but we can move forward in the grace and the understanding. And I know for me, it comes from much of what you heard Dr. Vanessa say. When she shared from one of the most well-known books in the world, from the Bible, I really find a level of peace and understanding like I've never known before. Because even in the midst of the challenges that we see and the things that we face, because we all know we can easily turn on the news, we can walk outside, we can read the paper or talk to our neighbor and see issues, ills, struggles. But there's a peace that's available when we walk into the birth and the understanding that there's more than just what's right here on the surface. So continuing with some of those solutions as well, we have the fact that when it comes to us working together, we can literally close the gender gap when it comes to employment and boosting, we'll use some big words, the GDP, the gross domestic product per capita by 20% across regions when we welcome women to the table. When we decide that, it's a position that's being fulfilled well, no matter what the gender is. So the pay should be comparable to the position, not to the gender. If you're doing work well, you should be compensated. Not because you look a certain way, not because you were born a certain gender, but because you've done the job well. Because you've done the job well. Fair and equal wages shift the game for so many families. We talked earlier about poverty and the things that we have been seeing when it comes to families and those that are affected specifically by single parent families that are led by women. We're seeing that there are major gaps in education, in the ability to feed our families, and then house our families. So I encourage you today to remember, you are the difference maker. Though there are challenges all over, though we see struggle and strife in many people's lives, and I know I've experienced much of that as well. Even though we have those challenges, it's our opportunity right here and right now to take the information that we've gained, to take the knowledge that we've already known, and to get into the room, to open our mouths and to encourage others to stand up, to stand strong, and to birth the visions that they've had all along, to walk in the mission that they desire to accomplish, that they were born with, to walk in their birthright, and know that we don't have to do this journey alone, that we have the opportunity to lock arms, to walk hand in hand, and accomplish the mission set before us. Listen, here we are commissioned to go into the world, to uproot evil, to change the culture, and bridge the divide. Birth is a covenant with fruitfulness. It's the fruitfulness of infancy, and with infant and maternal health, it includes well-being and justice. Why do I bring this up? Really? Because this is our time for motivation, and not just motivation, but activation and principle engagement. You have been given so many tips, so much knowledge. So I encourage you to no longer let the pains of your past or your fears for your future hold you back. It's your birthright to build, partake, and enjoy the freedom of peace, prosperity, and justice today. Today. So I encourage you to join us. We will be sending out information after this gathering as we are putting together a petition to take a stand against female injustice, violation, emotional, and physical endangerment. That's no longer okay. It's no longer something that we're going to accept. So today, if you agree, I say put in the chat birth, because we're birthing justice. We're birthing equality. We're birthing freedom. We're birthing peace. We're birthing prosperity. It's our opportunity as men and as women, because we are the ones that make the change in our community. So join us together today and become the top providers, support persons, health care supporters for those around the world that believe all births, no matter what kind it is, should be safe, because we should be making a safe place for everyone to work together. That all births should have compassion. We need to love one another. It's time to stop looking down on people. It's time to encourage each other's growth. That it should be centered on the person that you're working with, right? Not just the systematic things that have already been put in place, but that we focus on those that we're working with, the individuals that are important. That's the one we're working with in that moment. That we have clear and truthful communication. That we have emotional health, mental health, and that we support the bonds of each person. That is us joining together as one. So I thank you all again for being here with us today. We are going to open up for a short Q&A session, and we're going to start today with Dr. Peter Smith, our Chief Chaplain. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. It's funny that I came into this meeting completely by an invitation because I had no idea that this activity was taking place. And as soon as I got in here, the idea of taking a seat. And the funny thing is I took a seat to 3 news reports going on at the same time. 2 is very happy, another one is sort of like a bittersweet, of which all involve very famous women. So I'm going to start off by saying that the Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris, is presently in Puerto Rico. It's landed a little while ago for a visit for about 6 to 8 hours in Puerto Rico. She is the first female vice president of the United States and the first female vice president to visit Puerto Rico. Secondly, it came out to announce that a very special reporter of Puerto Rico, a woman that's been around in the field for 30, 40 years, is presently talking before the United Nations, a reporter, mind you. Luz Nereda Velez, a reporter from Puerto Rico, is presently talking about certain conditions in Puerto Rico that need some type of help and work. The third one will take me to another part of the world, of which I have a little bit of sadness of having to say this. For Her Majesty, Princess of Wales, is presently reporting on herself that she is a victim of cancer. She is presently going through treatment for cancer, and she's undergoing chemotherapy. That's 3 different things happening to people that are well known, both on the positive and a little on a negative, but a possibility that the chemotherapy can work. We wish her the well and the best. We wish the other 2 ladies the best. My thing is I have certain ladies that are in this room that assist us with our chaplaincy training that I do for Africa Wednesdays and Friday mornings. And they're interesting women. And these women, and I'm going to lower the TV, excuse me, my bad. These women are very interesting women. Now, they know, or they have been told, of what my religion is. Not to worry about the color of my skin, because I know they're not going to be all bent out of shape about that. But my religion is different than all of their religions and everybody in this room, of which is okay. I have no problem with that. But I respect the women that are helping me teach chaplains, future chaplains, who've got an intelligence that many women in Africa are afraid to use because it could cost them their life. And I had to bug one of them who was a student of mine, and I had to pull her aside in a private meeting and tell her that I feel that she is cheating me and cheating on me and the class, because I understand that she's a very intelligent woman, that she is bright, and she's reducing herself by giving me very poor homework. And I told her I expect more out of somebody that I understand to be brilliant, and that I will not belittle you because you are a woman. And I don't care whether you're more intelligent than me or not. I don't care if you're less intelligent than me. But you can do better. I have faith in you. Boy, was that a mistake. Oh my God, what a mistake. Her next homework assignment was 7.5 pages. 7.5 pages, from a half a page to 7.5 pages. Now, let me tell you something. I then came to find out that says, Chief Chaplain, you didn't know that she's got a master's degree in theology? I says, what? With the homework assignments that she's been hashing into me that, wouldn't make it past a high school grade or maybe a year of a bachelor's degree or something? But that young lady came out to be giving some very good homework assignments, participation within the trainings. And I make it a habit to tell all women that come into the class, besides the men, excuse me, that are there, that all women that come in the class, that if I feel that you're giving me very weak homework assignments, I'm going to let you know. I won't take you out and call you out in front of the class. I will take you on a personal one-by-one. And then I come to find out that I got a couple of females that are outstanding. One with presidential awards and ribbons and this and that. Others that are intelligent, this and this and that. I said, wait a minute, I'm being hijacked here, but I loved it. Women are afraid because they're not within the culture or the cult or the group or that part of the country or whatever. That's baloney. That's hogwash. I just found out now today in one of my classes that I have a former director of education from Africa in my class. And I just got before I came in here, I just got finished talking to her. I says, I just got slapped in the face because of you. You are a former director and you're giving me very weak homework assignments? Come on. But she said that the culture in her country does not let her express and bring out the real her. And I turned around and I says, I'm not in your country. For all purpose sakes, I'm in the United States of America on an island where 3.5 million people live, San Juan, Puerto Rico. So your class is not in Africa. It's in the United States. Well, guess what? She accepted that and she said, get ready. You've just opened up, or I should say, like one of my sayings, you just kicked the bucket, because I had mentioned earlier in that class that I'm going to kick the bucket. And she came back and said, you just kicked the bucket. But you want to know something, ladies? You have the opportunity, regardless of where you live, what color your skin is. And I've got 4 kids. 2 are Puerto Rican Indians. That means they're pretty much like Tanisha's color, or maybe Dr. Rosana's color. I don't go on colors. I don't believe in the colors. And I got 2 white kids, all from the same family. I'm Jewish. Nobody in here is Jewish. And I don't care what your religion is. I'm willing to teach. If I'm willing to come out of my comfort shell and go out and teach everybody, and these 4 women that have come in that are willing to help teach the class, come on. I don't care if you're Muslim. I don't care if you're Hindu, Pakistan, India. I don't even care if you're Charlene Diaz. And I know she's in here. I don't care. Be yourself. Stop hibernating. You know, you could either be part of life or just be a fixture in life. I think being part of life is a lot better than being a fixture, because a fixture can't talk. So ladies, regardless of wherever you're from, regardless of who you are, what you are, whether you're the president of Regnum, a vice president that I had appointed in Africa, James Mercy, who is a tremendous person, our friend Andrew, who's around, that does things that we need for him, and everybody else that comes in. We all, regardless of who or what you are, what your religion, what your nationality is, we've got to come together to be able to help others. And my way of living in life, is I've gotten everything I can out of life. I do community stuff since 1960. No, not 60, excuse me, 2010. But before that, I was president both of the International Kiwanis Club, Law Enforcement Association. I got more certificates and diplomas than I know what to do with. The idea that you can do something, pay back in life to help others, will reward you in a lot of ways that you don't know. And I don't care if you're an Andrew Williams or James Marcy or a Vanessa or a Lisette Josephs. I don't care who you are. You can be a Judine, a Celia. You can be anybody. You can be a Sylvia, a Patricia, a Catherine, whoever you want to be. the idea is that you could all pay back. Pay back for what you've gotten out of life. Others need that payback. The woman reporter that I just saw speaking before the United Nations, I know, Andrew, I got you. My time is up, and Andrew has given me the official warning. I thank you, ladies and gentlemen. God bless you. Have a great weekend, and thank you for allowing me to speak unexpectedly here.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Chief Chaplain. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Chaplain, Dr. Peter Smith. Much appreciated. Thank you so much. I get to understand Miss Rukia is here, but if you could all please just put in the chat, as was asked before, just one takeaway. Just a takeaway for today's session. Just put in the chat a takeaway. If you have any question, I'm going to ask you to, put your little emoji hands up, and then we will address that question or comment right after Ms. Rukio. So I don't see her, but I get to understand she's on the platform. Oh, there she is. So I'm just going to hand over the floor to her right now, and she will come forward and do her presentation. Ms. Rukia Abdul, and I will refrain from pronouncing the other last name. Please help me welcome her to the floor.
I'm honored to do so. My name is Rukaya Zafra Abdul Mutakalim. I'm the CEO and founder of the Musketeer Association here in the United States. And I gather we're kind of all over the globe at this wonderful, amazing event that you have put on here on Zoom. So I want to greet all of you as it's Ramadan for us, and it's peaceful in that we must always aim to be this peaceful through connection. That is how we begin to be peaceful, because we need to connect with each other. As that gentleman was just speaking about, the action is to know, one, that we are connected. We come from one single cell, one single family. We are the human beings on this earth. And if we don't begin to understand that spiritual connection that's in all of us, then we can't possibly find the peace that we say we're looking for. But as we begin to connect and understand that man was put on this earth to do good things, to be viceroys of the earth. And you cannot be a viceroy if you're not talking to each other, if you don't understand the environment that you're in, if you somehow allow yourself to be divided, you become put in a box. Instead of the box of humanity, you're allowing yourselves to be put in a box in such manners that make us not come together. The Musketeer Association is about stopping this type of wrongful thinking, because wrongful thinking gives you wrongful action. I know that if we start understanding the innate laws on this earth, which used to be taught by our ancestors to us, these innate laws were put here so that we as human beings, when we were put after them, so that we could live in harmony with all of creation. And we start teaching about that. Now, I don't know if you have questions for me, or if you want me to continue to speak what it is that why I'm doing what I do, what has happened in my family. I'd be honored to share whatever it is you want me to share. But the most important thing I know right now, for what you're trying to do with all the people who are connected here and take that message back to their families or their circumference, the audience or arena that they're in, is that connection. If we are not connecting as human beings, if we are not doing that, then what are we doing? And we are part of the problem instead of the solution. As women, and one of my one of my PowerPoints that is spreading around in America, part of it is about women, who we are as women. What is I don't want to say our role. What is our position in this? We are the nurturers, and so is Mother Earth, the nurturer. In understanding that nurturing that we do, we inspire, we ignite, we show our children, whether they're coming from our loins or we're aunts or mentors, we inspire and ignite them to do wonderful things. Our ancestors, way back, used to tell us about how children or how stars are born. And they actually come from our children. Every child that is conceived, when conceived, a star is born. And they used to tell us this. This is an old folk tale. But you know what? It is so true, because last 3, maybe 4 years ago, scientists from the probe that's gone further out there actually take a seat, actually have documented from the probe that they now know the stars are born. Well, we always, if we had continued to tell this ancestry tale, folk tale, we would have known that, because this is what the understanding of connecting to creation, of how we are really connected to everything that is on this earth and just above in the lower part of the heaven. So when you have that kind of teaching, you begin to understand that part of the position that you have, you as women, is so powerful, because you are the one that shows them, including whether male or female, how to become the best that they can be by reaching up to that star that was created when they were born. Because that star has everything that they will absolutely do of amazing things, and stars aren't on the ground. So they have to reach up instead of reaching down to hurt themselves or others. We are better together. Of course we're better together. But are we better together when we're doing negative? Because we can come together and do wrongful action. We must understand that coming together has to be so we're igniting hope, goodwill. We're inspiring them to reach up to catch that star that they will reach and do amazing things. I didn't say they were going to be on YouTube. What is amazing is what the talents you've been given. But if you haven't been shown how to reach those talents, how to bring them out of you in a positive way, then what? You're more the problem than you are the solution. So coming together will mean nothing but chaos, because you don't do chaos alone. You don't do chaos alone. People will join you in that chaos. That's how it spreads. But let's not have the chaos. Let us do truthful actions. Truthful actions beget truthful actions. From good can only come good. My Musketeer Association is about that, saving our future. And what is our future that's in danger from the man-made disease of trauma? MMDT? The 3 Bs. What are the 3 Bs? Babies, butterflies, and bees. Without them, mankind has no future. We are not the future, but we can inspire that future. The moment a child is born, they come knowing nothing. They come out with 5 beautiful gifts: light in their eyes, joy in their voice, hope in their hearts, a curious mind, and they're always reaching up, always reaching out. All children, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what is going on in their lives because they don't know. They don't know that their arms are short. They don't know what color eyes they have. They don't know anything about their skin color. They don't come out lying, stealing, cheating, hating, weapons in their hands. They don't. They come out as this beautiful gift for us to help mold them into whatever that star has for them so they can reach it. How to reach that star and do amazing things. So the story of how I even ended up doing this, the Musketeer Association, even coming into the nonprofit that we have, a 501c3, and doing this in the communities of the underserved, the ones that are suffering from the social unbalance. I could say imbalance, but look at how people think about imbalance versus unbalance. And health pandemic of violence, racism, fascism, and crime, how that is going on in our lives. My son, who was merely in a community, purposely he went there to try to help them. He didn't hang in the streets. He wasn't doing any type of substance abuse or substance whatsoever, other than trying to do the understanding that he received from how to live on this earth is through my faith, Islam. How to live on this earth, and you think when you even make a movement, you think with the idea to do no harm. Go forth with the idea, with the intention to do no harm. So he moved to a very challenged neighborhood, underserved, very bad, and it still is. Here in Cincinnati, Ohio. I'm in Cleveland right now, but in Cincinnati, Ohio. And 3 assailants walked up behind him, shot him in the back of the head. He was bringing food home. He was taking food home, walking under a poorly lit overpass, only less than a quarter of a mile from his apartment building. They just walked up behind him, shot him in the back of the head. They didn't say, stick him up. They didn't say, give me your money. They didn't say anything. They just shot him in the back of the head. It turns out it's a 14-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 25-year-old who led those children, and they were literally children in the face, to doing a heinous crime. And what made it so heinous is that the poorly lit camera, surveillance camera that was there, showed, I'm looking at it, and they showed them without the full face, just a silhouette of them. It shows them robbing him. After they shot him, he was still alive. They took his cell phone, $40 off his person, and the food he was taking home. And they walked away. They walked away, not run. I stared at it. And then I thought, well, he's still alive. They know he's alive. They will call 411 or 911, sorry, 911. They had his cell phone. No one would know what they're doing on that cell phone. They didn't even have the rahma to call 911. And I know you need me to stop, but understand this.
Yes.
Our children have lost, our future has lost what it means to have goodwill inside themselves, because it's there, but they don't know how to tap into it. And that was what shook my bones. And I had to find out what happened to those children, because children don't act like that. And they don't come out like that unless something has happened to them once coming out of their mother's womb. Yes, Andrew.
Please complete your presentation should you so choose.
Okay. Well, I thought maybe you were coming over because you needed to ask me a question. I'm sorry. All right. It did shock me. It still shocks me. And it really saddens me to no end. As a mother, I never thought any child would act like that. Not a child, an adult who's made this decision in their lives. Children don't, not like this. After I discovered What happened to them? This 14-year-old and 6-year-old, because the 25-year-old is still out there. They arrested the 14 and the 16-year-old. And when I saw them in court for the first time in juvenile court, I was shocked. I thought I was going to see men. Like my brother sitting right here in the picture. I'm thinking I'm going to see men. I saw babies. My heart just really, it dropped. And I had to know. So it took me 2 years going back into those lives and finding out. And when I lifted up the curtain to see at their lives, I saw a sea, an abysmal sea of children going through human trafficking, being sexually molested, children being buried alive in prison, children, our very future. I had to do something, and I met my wonderful sister, Tomesha, Dr. Tomesha Walker, and she's fighting for the birth of our future, the birth, the conception, so that they can become born. And that was a no-brainer. For me, no-brainer that we need to truly start teaching the innate laws and come together on that. Put aside your religious belief. Put it aside. And put aside your politics, because the innate laws affect all of us, no matter what we say we believe. You want to be able to breathe? You want to be able to breathe. You cannot get rid of trees or plants. You need that air. You don't make oxygen. You're not. And I find out the kids don't even know that. So what are they learning in school? Are we educating our children, or are we educating our children? Oh, and please don't say, I'm not there, I'm not the teacher. You are the teacher from the very beginning of conception, the male and the female. Don't get upset with me, but I'd rather just tell it like it is. Your sperm and that egg, they both play a part. And if you are doing things that don't have healthy egg, healthy sperm, what do you think will happen to that fetal that baby that's going to come out of that? It needs good to develop. You must have healthy bodies, healthy minds, healthy spirit. It is absolutely the basic foundation of understanding our innate laws that will help us be better human beings. Then we can connect to the rest of creation, because creation, the trees will stay trees. They can't change. Mountains will stay mountains. The scrubs under the ground, they are pollinators also. They're going to do what they were created to do. They don't have the free will. We do. So it's up to us, the top of the food chain, to act as if we truly understand how you want good out, you gotta put good in. If you are going to if you are going to be on this earth, and you didn't get to choose, and it's an innate law, you didn't get to choose the land you're born in, you didn't get to choose the tongue you speak, nor the eyes, nor the hair, nor the nose, nor the color. You didn't get to choose any of that, nor did you get to choose your family. Your family didn't get to choose you. There wasn't a book, a magazine came there and they said, oh, by the way, what child do you want? Let's flip the paper and find exactly who you want here. No, your parents got chosen for you and you got chosen for them. There's an honor there by the Creator. We have to be better at understanding our responsibilities to each other and to the creation. We are spiritually connected. There will never be any disconnection from that. There can be interruptions and hiccups. And right now we're in not just interruptions or hiccups, we're in an earthquake. Our children, our future, including and also the ecosystem, the bees, our pollinators, they are dying by a pandemic level. And we are heading towards a tsunami of deaths. Now, if you think, and it's an innate law, If you think you can exist out here without those pollinators, I want you to go out to the desert. Because we, as human beings, we can't even pollinate shade. So you go out to the desert and see how long you'll last. Because I have this understanding of innate laws and the importance of it, and the fact that we connect, that we are all connected. Stop denying that. Then I developed through some wonderful people who came into my association, and we came up with the 5 C's. The 5 B's, the 5 P's, which is promote, perpetuity, prosperity, projects and programs that attack in a very positive way using antibiotic and probiotic methods to save the 3 B's, babies, butterflies, and bees. And how do we do that? By the 3 C's. What are the 3 C's? And these are all innate laws now. Don't think I'm all that brilliant, though I'd like to think I am. But I'm not all, it is the 3 C's. Comprehensiveness, consistency, and collaboration. You want to stop this health pandemic of violence, racism, fascism, all the crime that's going on? You have to have the 3 C's. If you want to bring social balance, you need the 3 C's. Otherwise, you're part of the problem, not the solution. And you are not the future. You're not the future at all. You're supposed to help bring about the positive future by showing them how to do collaborative thinking, how to do comprehensive thinking, how to be consistent in your thinking and your behavior. Hypocrisy will not do it. It is exactly why we're here the way we are right now. The inconsistency, the hypocritical behavior and thinking we're doing one thing and then saying another. Human trafficking? Do you really think the children are trafficking themselves? Is that what you think? They are the buffet. And we, the adults, whomever we are, we have the money to either support that industry or to bring it to its needs. What part are you playing in it? What do you do? Because human trafficking here in the United States is a $150 billion industry. And in Ohio, it's number 5 leading. And in Cleveland is number 3 leading that industry. Cincinnati and the rest of them not far behind. So what part are you doing? What do you know about human trafficking? And they put a nice spin on it, human trafficking. Yeah, I know all the details, but really it deals with your connection of understanding as human beings. That is not about the sex. It's about the heart. It's not about the peekaboo or peeping into someone's houses or looking at children in a manner other than the fact that they are their future. It's about who we are as people. Mm-hmm. Our role on this earth is like Mother Earth. We are to nurture. We are not doing that. The children are not responsible. I love Tomesha. She got it from the day we met, and she knew I'm not going to back down from this. This truth has to be told, and we have to face what we are doing. Either we lead our children to the future in a positive way, or we will bring about our own demise, and the children will lead that too, because they are killing each other by the droves. They're either hurting someone else or they're hurting themselves. And they didn't come out like that, everyone. So whenever you see me, I want you to understand, I see you as a human being. I cannot what people have put you in a box, or you let them do it. The one thing I know, we are human beings. And our responsibility is to show the future how to become a future.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Thank you so much. We extremely appreciate you sharing today and you bringing wisdom to us and helping us in the interconnectedness that we all share together. So I encourage everyone today, again, to make sure that you are birthing the change that you want to see for positivity in your life. You are the change. So, as we leave out today, we have really made sure to share some amazing tips and opportunities with you, but we want to hear from you. So, as we get ready to leave today, if you would please put one action step that you will take in the chat. Because honestly, we didn't come here just to speak. We came here to make change. We came here to birth change, a new mindset. So today, as we get ready to exit, please put in one action step that you have decided to take because of the amazing speakers that you have heard today. And I know that I have learned a few things myself. So I will pass it back over to Dr. Lucent to say our goodbyes for today. And again, I thank you all for joining us from around the world as we've had people from India, people from New York, people from Ohio, people from Ontario, Canada, people from all over Africa. So thank you again also from Puerto Rico for being here with us today. It has been an extreme honor and pleasure to know you all, to learn with you all, and to see you all here. Oh, and we won't leave out Brazil as well. So thank you, thank you, thank you again for being here and remembering that you are the difference. You literally make the change. So thank you for planning on sharing this experience with others. And again, I turn it over to Dr. Lucent Josephs.
Thank you, Your Excellency Ambassador Dr. Tomesha Walker from Florida. We welcome Florida. Florida's in the house, as stated on the board here. Oh, wow. Such a passionate and powerful presentation. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. I welcome Washington, D.C. I don't know where to start, really. I am full. I am actually full from all the presentation that went forth. I think, as Dr. Tomesha said, it's important to know that we're not just here to share information. And as I said earlier, is what are we going to do with this? When we leave here, what are we going to do with this? How are we going to take that stand? How are we going to birth forth? How? I want us to ask ourselves those questions. Feel free to contact. Okay. How are we as individuals and collectively, how are we going to make that change? How are we going to take that stand? How? This is a question I'm actually asking. If anyone want to kind of quickly raise your hand, I'm going to close it right out. Anyone want to raise their hands really quick and just let me know, how do you think we should go about it? Or how are you personally going to take a stand? Anyone? Going once, going twice?
I can't. It's kind of hard to operate the phone and be on Zoom. So normally I'm on a laptop, but I'm here at our operations where we're going to be setting up to put out this action that you're talking about now. So ours is, if you go onto the website, you'll see the action we're taking. The www.musketeerassociation.net is to save the 3 Bs by eradicating the man-made disease of trauma, MMDT. That's our action.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else apart from the speakers? Andrew, your hand's up.
Oh, yes. Thank you so very much. Andrew Williams Jr. here. For those who did not get here at the beginning, I did put information in the chat for those of you who are able to save the chat. There are 3 buttons, 3 little dots at the bottom of your screen for the chat. You click that and you can save the chat. And for our last speaker, please, if you could be so kind, make sure we have your email information in the chat. And I would urge all of you to do so for those whose email addresses we have. Since you did register, of course, we do have them, but we will send out to you a summary of today's event as well.
Wonderful.
This activity today is being brought to you by the team that's been doing this for the last couple of years. In the chat, I'll let you know that we have produced over 100 of these events for the last 2 years out of our own pockets to support causes that we care about. But for this Women's Month, and actually Women's Decade, Women's Lifetime, you'll see that we're extending an opportunity for any of you that have nonprofit organizations to do what Dr. Tomesha has done, take advantage of this platform to reach a wider audience worldwide.
Wow.
Normally our costs are like $200. That takes up for at least 2 hours, but we will in fact make a donation to your nonprofit in that amount if you give us a tax deductible receipt so that we can use to take care of our tax responsibilities. So the intersection here today is not just with nonprofits, but it's very important that we understand that nonprofits are businesses, but there are businesses who are dedicated, whose mission are to focus on solutions to what you're addressing here. Particularly this month is International Women's Month, but of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, with gender equality being number 5, there are organizations that are dedicated to spend hundreds of millions, billions of dollars to address these issues. I would urge you all to align yourself with a global purpose. Whatever your local mission statement is, make sure you include it in such a way that for those companies in your area, in your neighborhood, who may have a global footprint, you think Microsoft, you think Google, but even McDonald's, these people have part of their commitment is to addressing issues like yours. I am also president of 5 Points Youth Foundation in Los Angeles, California. And this is my 10th year, but my first step was join an organization called the United Nations Global Compact. And that is the association, the largest corporate social responsibility organization in the world that brings together civil society along with businesses and governments to address these issues. So I'm just asking you to take a seat at the global table, and I'll do my best to provide you that opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We together are the change maker. We make differences globally. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I am still excited. I'm still elated. I feel like we're just starting this. I just want to share for 2 seconds that this afternoon, not this morning, this afternoon, I was on the phone with Dr. Tomesha Walker, excuse me. And I was on the phone and I was like, you know, because we went to the UN and we're doing all these things. And I was on the phone, I was saying to her, I feel there is a burden. We did a prophetic act. I don't know how many people know about prophetic act, but I'm not here to kind of get into that. But so we did a prophetic act because it dropped on me right there. And then with Your Excellency, Dr. Vanessa and Dr. Tomesha and myself, and we did this prophetic act. And I said, we have to, I'm going to just share a little bit of the prophetic act. this door, we're going into one of the rooms, and I said, I just feel like we have to all enter into the room at the same time. I know the door is small. I don't know how we're going to do it, but we have to do it. We have to walk into the room because I feel that there's a burden, there's a push, right? And that was then, right? It just dropped on me. I think it was Monday or Tuesday, whichever day it was. And that was that, right? I said, I feel like something. We did a prophetic act, and we went our way and, do whatever. This afternoon, not morning, on the phone again with Dr. Tomesha Walker. I just checking in and talking to her, and I think, I feel like there's a bird, there's a push, there's something in the making, something need to be birthed. And she started to laugh, and she said, wait until I send you this. I said, what's going on? Little did I know I was on a program to moderate a program about the birthing, and look at where we are at today. Look at where we are at. Talk about being at the right place at the right time. So I'm saying this to say that each and every one of you that are here right now, I don't believe in happenstance. I believe that this is the divine connection, a divine platform with all the information that went forth, all the collaboration that went forth. I believe we should continue on this quest. And thank you for those who have already put your information in the chat. If you haven't put your information yet, put it in. I assure you that the team will get in touch with you. And as I said, there is a burden. There is a push. There is a push. The time is now. We are the change maker. We are the ones that need to take a seat. And how are we going to take a seat? From the presentation that went forth. And I believe it, Chaplain Mercy, who said, let's start from home. We bring it back home. The change come from home. This is how we train our children. This is how we speak into their life. This is how we guide them. This is how we give them the tools that's necessary. They are the ones that are going to keep it going, keep it moving. We cannot sit and wait for 2020, 2030. It's ridiculous. So rather than sitting down and waiting for 2030, what are we going to do? What are the tools in our hands? What do we have in our hands? How can we come together and contribute? How can we come together and move along? Something tangible. We move, we make progress. So thank you, each and every one. Dr. Yvonne Pradier, thank you so much for coming on. Chaplain Mercy, James, thank you. Jamila, thank you so much for coming on. Beverly Holder, thank you. Catherine Evans, beautiful smile. Thank you for coming on. Sevilla, thank you. Sylvia, thank you for coming on. Antoinette, we appreciate you. Sandra, we appreciate you for coming on. Jardine, thank you so much. Patricia, thank you so much and congratulations. Cecilia, thank you so much. Adia, I think that's what it says. Thank you so much. David, thank you so much for coming on. Rukia, please forgive me. I always mess your name up. I will practice it. Thank you so much for coming on. Passionate, powerful presentation. Alfred, thank you so much for coming on. And who am I missing? Dr. Peter Smith, Chief Chaplain. Thank you so much for coming on. And a powerhouse that is in the house, like all giants that are on the platform today. Dr. Vanessa Rossier, thank you so much for coming on and joining us today. And for those who already left, we're going to say thank you for each and every one of you. All for coming on. We look forward for the continuation of the push. We look forward for the continuation of the birth. It's a continuous birthing. It's not just your birth and then that's it. I'm going to read one of my quotes. Birth is a covenant with fruitfulness. It's a continuous push It's a continuous birthing. Let us not just use voices. Let us not just use platform. And then we come together, we feel excited, and then we do nothing. But let us take a stand, take a seat. I am ready to take a seat. Are you ready to take a seat? Thank you again for coming. Take care.
And
Bye-bye.
before we take a seat, let's take a shot of ourselves. If you so choose, we can take about, let's say, give everyone three minutes, if you'd like, to show your video, and someone can take a snapshot and send it to Dr. Tomesha Walker, and I think she'll be able to share it, and I'll be able to share it as well. But one thing about it, if we don't document it, then we don't get it. So I would encourage each of you to consider for your organizations to make the investment in this Zoom platform that allows you to not just record your information, but to create transcripts. However, as a reminder, it only works when you don't have registration. Now, for today's special event, we wanted to make sure we had a safe and secure place. So we wanted to make sure we knew who was here. And that's what we did. But we're able to provide you with a transcript. But I encourage you to take the opportunity in your own events or contact me. My information in the chat, AHIABGA-TV@gmail.com. And I will, as I said, make available to you a platform where you can share your content around the world. And if we choose to, we can create transcripts. It's so important that we have people here from around the world, but guess what? Not all of them are from places that have English as a first language. But thanks to our AI technology, if we're able to create a transcript of the events that we do, that can be translated into any language in the world and reach an even larger audience. So Dr. Tomesha Walker, I'm actually talking to you directly because you're the cheerleader here. So I want to make sure you're empowered to empower your network. So who's going to take the picture? Chaplain James is usually the one that says someone's going
I
to
don't know if
volunteer.
anyone else wants to turn your cameras on so we can see your beautiful picture faces for this photograph. So if you can turn your cameras on, we're going to take the pictures in 2 seconds.
And
I'm
I'm going
sorry,
to
Jamili, I'm trying hardly to turn on the camera. I don't know why. It's
take your
not
time.
just
Go
going.
ahead.
I tried and yeah, I'm trying, but it doesn't go.
No worries. If you like, you can go out and come back in. We'll wait for you. Catherine Evans, you've been here all along. You haven't said anything. Anyone that hasn't had a chance to make a speech or say something, now's that time. So Catherine, how are you today? Only if you're on mute can we hear you.
Yeah, I had a appointment to go to, so I've been listening all along, and it's this is very touching, and yeah, I wept, I cried, but yeah, for the kids, you know, they're our lives, you know. So anyway, but thank you. I've been touched, very touched.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, David, would you like to say anything before we wrap up, or Antoinette? Roland?
Oh, okay. It's a pleasure to be on today. I really, was impressed with everything that was said, and helping others, especially letting women know that they are. This reminds me of when I went to Montreal in 1985, inspiring women to be who God wants them to be, and not to be intimidated by others. So it's very uplifting, and I hope you'll have more of these.
Everything's negotiable.
We do look forward to doing more. We'll be having another event, most likely in person, at the next CSW. So thank you so much for that
You're welcome.
encouragement. And we're so excited that we are able to touch so many lives. So thank you very much, the Honorable Andrew Williams Jr. We appreciate you as well.
This is how you can reach me, or at least this is how you can reach me for this particular part of what I do. And that's at AHIABGA-TV@gmail.com. And so we're going to move towards a close. I thank you so much for participating with this event today. Just as a reminder, we are dealing with, if I can do this right, gender-based violence, violence against women and girls, women's health education. And thank you, everyone. We're going to wrap it up today. Have a fantastic day.
It is.